They never hunted you because you were weak. They hunted you because you were strong. The world has tried to convince you otherwise. They lied to you, broke you down, and filled your mind with doubts, not because you were insignificant, but because deep down they knew the truth. You are chosen. You've felt the weight, betrayals that cut deep, losses that made no sense, chaos right before your breakthrough. That wasn't random. It was all strategy. Hell doesn't waste energy on the average. It fears the awakened. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. You were marked before you took your first breath. Your spirit carries a power that can't be bought, taught, or copied, and that terrifies them. That's why they whisper lies in your quietest moments. That's why you've been isolated, tested, pushed to the edge. Not because you're cursed, but because you're dangerous to the systems that feed on control. Every distraction, every toxic loop, every moment of self-doubt, it's been designed to keep you from rising. Because the moment a chosen one stands in their truth, the enemy loses all control. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. You carry that light. Even when you feel invisible, they see it. Even when you feel empty, your presence shakes the room. That's why they fight so hard to make you forget who you are. But now, it's time to remember. This is not just another video. This is your wake-up call. If you feel this message in your bones, like your soul is stirring, you're not alone. Drop amen in the comments if you're ready to reclaim what was always yours. Like, share, subscribe. Not just for you, but for every chosen one who's still trapped in silence. Let the chains break. Let the truth rise. Let's begin. They knew who you were before you ever had a chance to remember. The greatest deception of darkness was never to destroy the chosen. It was to make them forget who they are. Long before you began questioning why life felt heavier for you, why love cut deeper, or why you could never seem to fit in, they already recognized the light inside you. You were marked, set apart, watched, because even in your innocence, you were a threat. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. The moment your soul entered this world, heaven took notice, and so did the enemy. They whispered fear into your dreams before you could even speak. They built obstacles before your first step. They turned hearts against you not because you were weak, but because your presence disrupted their illusion of control. The truth is, you were born a weapon of light in a world addicted to shadows. Think about it. Have you noticed how the ones with the deepest empathy, the sharpest intuition, and the strongest faith always seem to suffer most? The brightest flames always draw the most wind. It's not punishment, it's refinement. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. Your trials were never proof of your failure. They were proof of your calling. Gold only shines after fire. Diamonds are only born under pressure. Prophets are only shaped through isolation. The world has always feared divine strength wrapped in human skin. They feared Joseph's dreams, David's heart, Esther's courage. They fear you for the same reason, because your awakening exposes the deception around you. And now, you're beginning to see it. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every closed door, it wasn't to destroy you. It was to remind you who you are without the noise. Because once you remember, they lose control. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. Isaiah 9:2. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break patterns, challenge systems, and carry light where no one else dares to go. They tried to bury you, but they didn't realize you were a seed. And now, it's harvest season. You weren't taught your power. You were born with it. A lion doesn't need permission to roar, and the chosen don't need validation to rise. What lives in you wasn't earned, copied, or borrowed. It was woven into your being by the Creator himself. Before you ever spoke a word, before the world ever touched you, heaven had already marked you. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. That's what they can't stand. They try to manufacture what you carry naturally. They mimic your energy, adopt your style, echo your voice, but no matter how hard they try, it never rings true, because your essence isn't learned, it's eternal. This is why they've tried to silence you, gaslight you, make you shrink, not because they truly believe you're nothing, but because deep down, they know you're everything they can never be. Have you noticed how people are drawn to you? How they feed off your peace, your strength, your insight, and then suddenly turn cold when they realize they can't control it? They didn't love you. They loved your light. And when they couldn't cage it, they tried to crush it, but it never worked, and it never will. What they called stubbornness is sacred resilience. The fire inside you refuses to go out because it wasn't lit by man, it was lit by purpose. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. You've been under attack not because you're weak, but because you're a threat. You don't fit into their formulas, their boxes, their expectations, and that's the point. You were never meant to. The world has tried everything to distract you, to derail you, to make you doubt what was already placed inside you. But how long will you keep handing them that power? Every time you hesitate, every time you question the fire in your bones, they win. And you weren't chosen to lose. This world doesn't need another imitation. It needs you unfiltered, undeniable, and unafraid. So stop running, stand up. The moment you own your power, the world will have no choice but to honor it. They cannot have what's inside you, so they try to control it. When the enemy can't possess the fire, they aim to extinguish it. They've tried everything, copying your essence, draining your energy, mocking your spirit. But no matter how many times they circle back, one truth remains. You are not replicable. What's been placed inside you wasn't learned. It was assigned, divine, untouchable. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Isaiah 54:17. They knew your potential before you did. That's why the war started early, before you even knew your own name. But when they realized they couldn't take your gifts, they went for the next best tactic, convincing you to give them away. They come softly now, not with chains but with distractions, with false friends, with carefully placed voices meant to wear you down so that when your moment comes, you're too drained to rise. History repeats itself. The powerful are always targeted before they awaken. Elijah was hunted in isolation. Jeremiah was called a liar by his own people. Deborah led in a world that silenced women. The chosen have always been opposed before they stepped fully into their role, because the longer you live in your power, the harder it becomes to contain you. So they send users, manipulators, energy thieves, people who smile as they drain you, people who love your light until it shines too bright for them to control. But ask yourself, how many times have you surrendered your worth just to keep the peace? How often have you held back your truth so others wouldn't feel small? They created a system designed to shrink you, a world that teaches obedience, not wisdom, that rewards conformity, not vision, that fears those who are unshakable, divinely connected, and spiritually whole. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break the mold. And once you stop explaining, stop apologizing, stop letting fear write your story, they lose. They cannot access what flows through you. And once you reclaim it, they'll have no choice but to witness the rise they tried to prevent. The war you're in is invisible, but the wounds are real. You weren't born into peace. You were born into a battlefield where spirits clash, and truth is the first casualty. This war isn't fought with weapons. It's fought in silence, in the shadows of your thoughts, in the quiet unraveling of your confidence, in the whisper that says, "You're not enough." For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Ephesians 6:12. They told you your pain was just bad luck, that your betrayal was coincidence, that your fatigue was burnout. But that's the lie. The truth is this: you've been under attack from the moment you were marked as chosen. And the enemy? It doesn't need to kill your body. It only needs to silence your spirit. That's why the attacks come wrapped in familiarity, friends turning into enemies, opportunities disappearing just as you're about to break through, toxic love disguised as fate. It's never random, it's calculated, because nothing disarms a chosen one faster than heartbreak, exhaustion, and doubt. The enemy knows if it can keep you distracted, it can keep you small. That's why the betrayal cuts so deep, why the same patterns repeat, why you feel a kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. You're not just physically worn, you're spiritually drained. That's not weakness, that's warfare. Job lost everything but held onto his faith. David was hunted long before he wore a crown. Even Jesus was betrayed with a kiss. If the greats were tested through pain, isolation, and loss, why would your path be any easier? The depth of your trial only reveals the weight of your calling. But here's what they never saw coming. You survived. Every time they thought they broke you, you rose. Every time you were counted out, you kept going. That's what shakes the darkness. Not your perfection, but your refusal to stay down. So what now? Will you keep giving power to fear, or will you wake up to the truth? This is war, and you were built to win. The moment you stop seeing yourself as cursed and start seeing your scars as proof, you become unbreakable. And that's exactly what they fear most. And when the battle quiets down, you find yourself alone, not in defeat, but in reflection. You feel alone not because something is wrong with you, but because you were set apart. The eagle does not fly in flocks. The higher it rises, the lonelier the sky becomes. And so it is with you. From a young age, you felt it, like you didn't quite belong, like you were always standing on the outside, even when surrounded by people. You tried to fit in, tried to shrink yourself, to blend into spaces that could never contain your spirit. But no matter how hard you tried, solitude kept finding you. That's not rejection, that's refinement. The Lord called me from the womb. From the body of my mother, He named my name. Isaiah 49:1. Elevation always requires separation. You cannot soar while clinging to what's beneath you. The calling on your life demands more clarity, more strength, more surrender. And that often means walking alone. Look around. Where are the ones who started with you? The ones who said they'd always be there? Gone. Not because you failed, but because your path outgrew their reach. The truth is, not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some were only meant to walk with you until the road got steep. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? Amos 3:3. You've been pushed into wilderness seasons not to punish you, but to prepare you. Moses faced the desert before he led nations. Elijah hid in caves before fire fell from heaven. Even Jesus withdrew alone before he stepped into power. You're not being abandoned. You're being anointed. Yes, it hurts. Yes, there were nights you begged for just one person to understand. But sometimes, God removes what's familiar to protect what's sacred. You don't need crowds to validate your calling. What's on your life is too heavy for shallow relationships and surface-level loyalty. And the right people, the ones who match your mission, will meet you at the next level, not the last one. So stop mourning what left. You're not being buried. You're being planted. This season of solitude isn't punishment, it's transformation. And when the time comes, you won't just rise, you'll lead. Because the ones set apart today are the ones the world will follow tomorrow. If they can't destroy you, they'll distract you. This war no longer wears armor. It wears entertainment. You're not chained at the wrists, you're chained at the mind. The enemy doesn't silence you with force. They lull you with noise. Endless scrolling, flashing images, empty chatter designed to keep you numb and unaware. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. 1 Peter 5-8. This is not random. It's a system. Social media floods your thoughts with noise. Music conditions your subconscious. News programs stir fear, not faith. Reality TV glorifies ignorance while truth is pushed to the margins. Wisdom is mocked. Spirituality is labeled weird. Holiness is called extreme. They want you laughing when you should be thinking, consuming when you should be creating, reacting instead of rising. Why? Because a distracted soul is a powerless soul. If you never focus, you never build. If you never look up, you never rise. Every chosen one has been targeted this way. Prophets were mocked before they were heard. Visionaries were dismissed as crazy before they shifted history. Distraction has always been the weapon used to dull the divine. And you, how much time have you lost chasing shadows? How many hours were given to things that fed nothing but emptiness? How many gifts still sit unused because your attention was stolen by noise? The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6:22. The longer you stay distracted, the easier you are to control. But the moment you unplug, the moment you reclaim your focus, everything shifts. You begin to see clearly. You stop chasing what was never meant for you. You stop feeding the system that profits off your disconnection. And that's what they fear most, a chosen one who is no longer distracted. So ask yourself, who owns your attention? Who commands your thoughts? Because the moment you choose awareness over amusement, purpose over distraction, you become unstoppable, and they know it. Doubt is their favorite weapon. They don't need to chain your body if they can imprison your mind. They don't have to stop you if they can make you stop yourself. From the very beginning, they've been planting lies, whispering that you're too much, not enough, or simply unworthy. They've surrounded you with voices that told you to stay small, be realistic, and never dream beyond what the system allows. They built a world where faith is mocked, vision is ridiculed, and obedience is rewarded over truth. Let no one deceive you with empty words, for because of such things God's wrath comes on those who are disobedient. Ephesians 5-6. They never had to steal your power. All they had to do was convince you it wasn't real. And it worked. You hesitated when you should have stepped forward. You stayed silent when your voice was needed. You questioned your gifts, while others built empires on lesser talent and louder noise. But here's what they hope you never realize. The enemy doesn't attack the powerless. He attacks the dangerous. If you were nothing, they wouldn't be trying so hard to keep you confused, distracted, and doubtful. History proves it. The world calls prophets crazy until they're proven right. Jeremiah was ridiculed. Paul was imprisoned. Esther was nearly erased before she rose to deliver a nation. Before every breakthrough comes resistance. Before every crown, a cross. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. Hebrews 10:35. The doubt isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're close to awakening, close to rising, close to becoming everything they fear you'll become. So let me ask you, how much longer will you carry chains that were never yours? How many more dreams will you bury to make others comfortable? How long will you delay the destiny that's already calling your name? Because the moment you silence the doubt, the fog lifts, the voice returns, the fire reignites, and the power they worked so hard to bury comes alive again. That moment, that's what they fear most. You weren't just tested, you were forged. The fire that tried to destroy you didn't win, it built you. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the nights you lay awake wondering if you'd ever make it through. that wasn't the end of you. That was the beginning of who you're becoming. You've endured storms others never even saw. You carried weights no one noticed. And yet you're still here. That alone is proof. You were never meant to break. You were meant to rise. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1-2-3. Every trial had a purpose, not to punish you, but to prepare you, because great purpose always comes with great pressure. You can't carry the crown without first carrying the cross. You prayed for strength, so life gave you struggle. You asked for wisdom, so you were sent into the storm. You asked for purpose, so everything that was false had to fall away. The untested are not entrusted. The chosen are refined in isolation, not applause. Because destiny doesn't hand itself to the comfortable, it reveals itself to the resilient. Think back. How many times did you whisper, "I can't do this," but still took the next step? How many times did you feel like it was over only to rise again, stronger? That was the test. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. 1 Peter 5:10. Every time you kept going, you were proving that you're ready, that you can carry the weight of what's coming, that your future is bigger than your past. The world breaks what it cannot control, but it could not break you. You've already survived what was meant to destroy you. Now it's time to live like it. So stop mourning the fire. You didn't walk through it to come out the same. You walked through it to step into everything you were born for. This is your moment. The test is over. Now, walk in your power. The time to rise is now. No more waiting. No more excuses. A lion doesn't ask permission to roar, and a chosen one doesn't wait for approval to walk in their power. You've spent too long shrinking, waiting for the fear to disappear, waiting for a sign, a confirmation, the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is a myth, because the moment has always been now. Arise, for it is your task, and we are with you. Be strong and do it. Ezra 10-4. You've been holding back, hoping someone would validate your worth, hoping the pain would ease, the fear would fade, the path would clear. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you, because you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to awaken. The enemy's greatest lie is convincing you that you're not ready, that you need more time, that you're too broken, too flawed, too late. But that's a lie designed to keep you passive while the world burns. The greatest warriors in history didn't feel ready. David didn't wait to feel strong before he faced Goliath. Gideon didn't wait to become fearless before leading an army. They moved because God said, "Move. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Joshua 1-9. You feel the shift in the air, the urgency. This world is growing darker by the day, and your light is not a decoration, it's a weapon. You were not sent here to play small. You were not chosen to fit in. You were called to rise. So stop waiting for someone to hand you what heaven already confirmed. You've been set apart. You've been prepared. You've been anointed for this very hour. No more hiding. No more second guessing. No more someday. This is the moment. And the only question left is, will you answer it? Because the chosen don't wait. They move. And the time to move is now. Your energy is sacred. It's not just a trait, it's a gift, a weapon, a divine force placed within you. That's why not everyone deserves access to it. Some people come to support, but many come to steal. They don't seek your love, they seek your light. And when they find it, they don't protect it. They drain it. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet. Matthew 7-6. You felt it. The conversations that leave you empty, the relationships where you pour out and get nothing back, the connections that once felt meaningful but now feel like spiritual warfare. That's not random. It's spiritual strategy, because your energy shifts atmospheres. Your presence heals. Your words carry weight. Even when you're unaware of your power, others can sense it, and some will do anything to take it. The enemy rarely attacks through strangers. He sends familiar faces, smiles that hide motives, words that flatter but slowly weaken your spirit. Be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Matthew 10:16. Not everyone who claps for you is cheering for you. Some people stay close not to uplift you but to feed off your overflow. They disguise their need as friendship, their jealousy as concern, their control as care. But here's the truth. Your energy is not for everyone. You were not created to be constantly depleted. You were not called to give endlessly to those who never pour back. You were created to walk in power, and that requires protection. When you start guarding your energy, everything changes. The wrong people fall away. The fog lifts. The constant fatigue fades. And suddenly, you start attracting what you truly deserve: peace, clarity, and connection that builds, not breaks. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. So ask yourself, who have you been giving your light to? Are they fueling your fire or slowly dimming it? Because if you don't take control of your energy, they will, and you'll spend your life wondering why you feel empty, stuck, and lost. Guard your light, protect your power, and watch your world transform. Stay ready. They will come. When your spirit awakens and you step fully into who God called you to be, don't be surprised when resistance shows up. It's not random. Light disturbs darkness. Growth threatens comfort zones. The moment you rise, you'll become a mirror reflecting truth some people aren't ready to see. They won't come because you've wronged them. They'll come because your transformation reveals their stagnation. That's the threat. Old faces may reappear not in love, but in strategy. Fake friends will knock, not to reconnect, but to reattach themselves to your glow. Manipulators will rebrand their tactics, guilt-trip you, question your change, or say you've lost yourself. But don't be fooled. You haven't lost yourself. You've finally found yourself. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2. Your elevation exposes who was only comfortable when you played small. Your peace will provoke their chaos. But remember, their discomfort is not your burden. They will try to bring you back not out of love, but control. Some will smear you, twist your words, or turn others against you. But even if the whole world misunderstands your path, keep walking. God never called you to be understood. He called you to be obedient. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. You don't need to explain your growth. A lion never lowers itself to argue with sheep. Let them talk. Let them twist. Let them walk away. The version of you they knew no longer exists, and that's your victory, not your loss. When they come, and they will, don't flinch. Don't fold. Don't fall for nostalgia or guilt. You didn't fight to heal, just to reopen wounds. So stay ready. Not in fear, but in faith. Because what they fear most isn't your rise. It's the fact that they can't stop it. This is your wake-up call. No more waiting. You're still here for a reason. You didn't survive all of that by accident. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every silent night where you almost gave up, it shaped you. It built the fire in your bones, and now you stand at a crossroads. You've been tested. You've been stretched. You've been through more than most would ever understand. But you didn't break. You're not broken. You're being called. The Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. 2 Timothy 1-7. This is not just a motivational moment. This is a divine interruption, a reminder of who you are and why you're still breathing. The only real question is, will you rise, or will you keep hiding from the gift inside you? Stop waiting for someone to rescue you. No one is coming. It's your move now. You've seen too much, felt too much, endured too much to pretend you're not chosen. Every delay, every door that slammed shut, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You were being prepared, not punished. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. James 1:12. The enemy's greatest weapon was never power, it was your hesitation. Every time you doubted yourself, they gained ground. But now you know who you are. Now the illusion is broken, and with that knowledge comes a choice. Rise or retreat, step into your destiny, or shrink to fit the version of you they're comfortable with. You already feel it. That pull in your spirit, that restlessness in your chest. You were made for more, and deep down, you know it. So this is it. Your final message, your divine nudge. No more delay, no more fear. You've carried too much light to stay in the shadows. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60:1. Chosen one, it's your time. Not someday, now. The world is waiting. Heaven is watching, and hell is nervous. Now move.